Kate here, and we are tuning in today with an interview with Contessa, who has an amazing course about Web 3.0. So if you want to know a little bit about Web 3.0, I hope you stay tuned. We'll also talk about how her course is different and stands out because of who she is. And I think you'll be surprised that one of the struggles she has is letting herself shine because she is such an amazing person. It's going to be so obvious to you why her course is such a great deal. Contessa, I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
So tell us a little bit about this program that you're creating. I am so excited to hear all about it.
I love Web3. It's like the best thing that has ever happened to me, but I have a really special interest in content creators. A lot of times you hear about Web3 from the technical side, from the developer side, and also from the investing side. And so you have people who create content, who create videos, who create blogs that are like, I don't think that that's for me. And I'm like, let me show you how. Let me relate this to what it is that you're already doing. So I'm creating a course, Web3 for content creators. Hopefully I will come up with a better name for it, but that's kind of what it is. It's for people who create content to get involved with social tokens and to get involved with cryptocurrency and NFTs.
Okay, so when you start talking about Web 3.0, you look absolutely giddy.
Thank you so much. And that just lets you know how much I really love being in this space. There are so many people out there who have businesses that they don't even like anymore. And that's unfortunate. And you can kind of tell people, it's like, I'm doing this because I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is how I think I'm supposed to show up. And they're really not being authentic to themselves. This is me. This takes all the different parts of me, the nerd part of me, the extrovert to introvert, the get down and focus for 5 hours part of me, and being able to relate to people and build community. This is all me. And I love it here.
So without losing me and maybe anybody else who's watching this that isn't familiar with Web 3.0, what can we do differently in Web 3.0 that we can't do today?
You can own your own content. And a lot of people are like, I own my own content now. No, you don't. Facebook owns your content. TikTok owns your content. YouTube owns your content, and they're making money off of your content. Not only that, they are limiting who else can see your content.
Yeah.
That happen in Web3 spaces.
So today we're playing by the rules of these big conglomerates, and you're saying this is a lawless territory. And I'm just kidding. It sounds like it's the Wild West.
Web3 right now, it is the wild, wild west. There's a lot of possibilities. We're all learning. People are like, I don't know if I should get into it. Is it too late? I'm 1 month ahead of you. So come on in, see what Web3 has to offer. Learn with us, and together we can all grow and make this into a space that we all can enjoy. Yes, the big people, companies and corporations are getting into it. Why not? Facebook knows that if they can keep you within their ecosystem, they can still make money off of you. So of course they're going to get into the metaverse. That makes sense for them. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to go that way. There are ways that you can get into Web3 that's not that difficult. There's a slight little learning curve, but come on, I'm me. I'm going to make it easy for you.
I'll be honest, when I was asking what Web 3.0 can do, I was really hoping you would say we would put on these goggles and we could, like live in a different world, and it would be cool and go to the moon. And so I was expecting something like that, but owning your own content actually doesn't sound super exciting. So I suspect that there's more to it that maybe I'm not getting.
So you do have the metaverse where you can put on the goggles and things like that, but none of that matters unless you know how to make content for it.
Yes.
So as a content creator, can't build your business unless you know about the things that go on behind the scenes. I want you to be involved in Web3 and not just consume web.
Okay, I get that now. So why is this so important to you?
Clearly, for those of you who can see me, I'm a Black content creator, and I have been silenced
Mm.
on social media. I have had content stolen from other creators who have made money from my content that I wasn't able to, because it is easier for them to create these big followings, because these platforms says, you know what, you are more relatable, so I'm going to show your content to more people. So they're actually making money off of my hard work. And that's frustrating. It
Mhm.
is frustrating for, creators of color. It is frustrating for creators who may have a chronic illness, who may not be able to post 5, 6 times a day. It is unfortunate for people who work full time and really want to try out content creation. And so it's really important to me that I show you that you don't have to do a lot to be involved in Web3. You don't have to do a lot to make money and own your own content. You don't have to do a lot to create an audience who's going to love you and love what it is that you say. And you can show up exactly the way you are. You don't have to change. You don't have to show up in a particular way. You can be you. I've created content laying in my bed, because that was all the energy that I had and no one cared.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. All the thing that matters is that you are creating content that people love, that people can consume, that people can take and either be entertained or learn something new.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons I love courses, is because you can create content that's going to benefit others. And so that somebody who does struggle with a chronic disease or chronic fatigue or something along those lines, they can take their best moments and curate it and then give it as a gift to other people who would benefit from it. Just because we are sick, or just because we were raised in a different way, or we're a different color, or whatever our background is, that doesn't mean that we don't have something incredibly valuable to offer other people.
Absolutely. It's so easy to get frustrated and feel silenced. And with Web3 and with creating courses, you don't have to feel that way.
So it sounds like you're not only offering a course, you're offering an invitation to take part in a Web 3.0, which can be a kinder, more representative place where people aren't necessarily judged based on them being well, or being white, or being rich, or being male.
Exactly, exactly. And I just love the way you said that.
It sounds so judgmental.
But it's true, though. It is
That way.
This is the reality of where we live. This is the reality of, consumerism. This is the reality of it. People judge whether or not they can make money off of you, whether or not your content is valid, whether or not they want to show it to other people and share it, whether or not they think that they can consume you. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I was just reading a story about a man who was a janitor at a high school for many, many years. And he had a principal at that high school who inspired him to become a teacher. And so he became a teacher, and then he became a principal of the same place. And you think about everything that was in that man, it existed for him to be a principal, even when he was a janitor. Now he had to do some growth and, put himself in experiences that were difficult, but he had what it took to be in a better position.
Yes, yes, he did. Most of us are like that. We don't even understand and realize how much knowledge we have because no one ever listened, or we feel like no one is listening to us.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're giving these platforms, like all the platforms in Web3, like creating your own courses where people can say to you, yes,
Mm-hmm.
no, actually has value.
Yes. Yes, because I have definitely been in places in my life where I felt more like that janitor, silenced, invisible, taken for granted.
Absolutely. Believe me, I think most of us have been in those situations, but many of us didn't let that stop us. We're still out there chugging along, trying to find our place. And I'm just here to offer a place where you can go and see if this is a better fit for you.
All right. I want to hear your letters. So you wrote 2 letters. The first letter is from someone who really wants to be a part of your program, and they're going to explain why they want to be part of your program. So go ahead and read that.
Okay. It says, "Hey, Contessa, I just saw your mini training on Is Web3 for Me, and I'm interested in taking your course on Web3 for content creators, but I still have questions. I create TikTok videos to drive traffic to my urban gardening blog. I heard all these great things about this platform, but I'm not getting the kind of traction everyone bragged about. The last thing I want to do is jump on this Web3 and NFT thing and be disappointed again. I don't want to waste any more time learning something new and still not have more visitors and sales from my blog. I'm tired. I'm tired of writing and no one even knows I'm out here. I'm tired of making videos 5 times a day and every single day. This is insane. I'm tired of unwarranted community violations, stupid algorithms, and people stealing my content. I am almost ready to give up. Seeing your training gave me some hope. Is there hope in Web3 for a small creator like me?"
Awesome. Not so awesome, actually. Not an awesome place to be.
I hear this a lot. This platform that you're on, is it giving what you thought it was going to give? Is it actually working for you? And a lot of times the answer is no. So I'm like, so why are you still there? Well, it's familiar. So they keep hoping something is going to change, and they don't know what else to do. Because if you go to any influencer or take anything that has to do with social media, they're going to tell you, just keep doing it. It's going to work. It worked for me. It's going to work for you. But that's not how it works. You don't have any control over who sees your content on these platforms. So I can copy everything that someone else did. It doesn't mean I'm going to get the same result.
So what it sounds like is that your course offers a sense of freedom in the course creation. Like, it doesn't have the rules that we're going to try and optimize it for search engine. We're going to optimize it for this. We're going to optimize it for the algorithm. We're going to work within the system rules that exist. So the truth is that if you're going to use their platforms and you're going to try and make the most of it, you do have to play by their rules.
You absolutely do. And right now, there's not really a lot of rules in Web3.
That's what it sounds like. It sounds like the Wild, Wild West.
They call it centralized for a reason. No one person owns Web3. We all own it, and we can all participate and reap the benefits of Web3. Now, you can decide to be a part of a community in Web3, and there, guidelines and things like that, but you don't have to. You can do all of this on your own and create your own community and create your own set of rules and how people show up in your space.
Let's go ahead and read that second letter. So the second letter is after this person, same person, they finished your program and they found a new life.
Okay, it says, "Contessa, girl, I can't stop talking about you and how Web3 has changed my expensive and exhausting hobby into a full-time business. Mm-hmm. You just didn't tell me what I needed to do. You showed me many paths I could take and then allowed me to create a path that worked just for me. Then you held me accountable for taking action and making realistic goals. The best part is you just didn't work on business skills. You helped me work on some issues that kept me from being successful in the past. You got me to admit that I hated video creation, but I really do love blogging. And now I'm not forcing myself to do the thing that I hate that wasn't working for me to begin with. You also showed me that I was being too humble. I didn't see myself as someone with skills and knowledge that people would actually value. You showed me to see myself as who I truly am. No one has ever done that in any program that I've been in. Now I'm writing on Web3 platforms, earning crypto, building a community who loves my content, and showing up as my true self. My sales are better than ever, dare I say, I'm doing what I love and it doesn't even seem like work. I really do have a business now and I owe it all to you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That is really cool. I love the fact that you are not only helping them with understanding this new web, but you're also helping them tap into who they really are created to be. I think that that could be a very tough thing for you to do.
Actually, it comes really easy for me.
Okay.
It's a natural part of what I do. And I do it without even realizing that I'm doing it. And that's just from people telling me. It's like spending time with you. Not only do you change people's outlook on their business, but you change something within them in their life. You let them see themselves for themselves. To me, I've been in a lot in coaching programs where they just focus on, oh, you have a mindset issue, or this is what it is, without even asking you, how much work did you do to get here to begin with?
Mhm.
You know, they assume that you're starting with a deficit, but you're not. You're starting with all this knowledge and skill and sacrifices and all this stuff that you came from. And so maybe I don't have a mindset issue. Maybe I don't know how to operate in this new space that I'm in.
Yeah, or maybe you're just exhausted.
That is true. That could be true. There are so many things that are going on that a lot of people just assume that, oh no, this is a simple fix. All I want you to say is these 3 affirmations every day and you'll be fine. That's not real.
It could be the right thing for somebody else, but unless you know the cause of the whatever slump they're in, you can't address it.
Right. And it needs to be addressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And affirmations are awesome. I love using affirmations in businesses and in courses, but it's not a panacea.
No, it's not. And it doesn't work for everyone. And sometimes sometimes you have to reword it and there's all these things, but it's not a one size fit all. And my coaching practice, the way that I do things, it's never a one size fit all. Even if it is a group program, there are still things. It's like, you know what? Here are 3 different ways that you can do this. Which one fits you?
I do the same with courses because I don't have a framework. Like every course needs to look this way, this many modules, this many lessons, has to be video based. The courses can look so incredibly different. I created a course that was actually an infogram. Did I say that right? It's an infogram. It's just a piece, it's just a poster that shows you how to do stuff. You don't need to teach people that if you can show them how to do it. And then there's other things I've done. The course was 18 months long because it was developing a skill and building a lot of knowledge. And so they were, going into a new job. So it really depends on what it is you're trying to accomplish, who the people are that are coming in, what are some of the root issues, and recognizing the different avatars. By the way, I really, really believe that every course creator should really think about their avatar in terms of 3 avatars. And that is because people have different barriers, they have different motivations, barriers that prevent them from taking the action that they ought to take. You do a lot of accountability. I'm sure that you've seen people who weren't able to follow through for a variety of different reasons. Yes. It's not as simple as they're lazy. And I've heard people say that type of thing. They're not recognizing that the reason they can't do it is because they're triggered or they're traumatized or they're afraid to face whatever fear they have. So unless we can really empathize with those different barriers, we can't really offer them a solution that's going to get them the results, which is why I like having 3 avatars.
I like that. I've never had anyone say that before. And now that you mention it, it makes sense.
Yeah, I do 3. I do 1 ideal and I do 1 entry level. And this is very helpful for age, experience, and education because people have different varying levels of education and age. Some people know Linda Carter as Wonder Woman and others know Gal Gadot. So Linda Carter is my Wonder Woman, but my kids never knew that.
That is so true.
Yeah. And then in addition to having the entry level in age, experience, and education, I like to pepper those 3 avatars with diversity, with different ways of thinking and processing, different experiences, different barriers, and different motivations.
Nice. I like that.
Your course is working on the cognitive domain, which is need to know all this body of information, and the affective domain, which is the way they feel, maybe the way they see themselves, the way they see the world, maybe the way they see opportunities. So if we go back to the example we saw before, a janitor who can see himself as a teacher, who later can see himself as principal, so that is a change in the affective domain. What do you see in your students before maybe they even see in themselves? What change do you see that says they're about ready to hit a breakthrough or they've gotten it?
Oh gosh, that's such a great question. Oh, when they tell me that they've told other people about what it is that they're doing. It's difficult to explain to someone what it is that you're doing when you don't understand it. When it's like, I just can't stop telling my friends, I've told this, they're talking about it on social media. I told my mom about this really fun thing that I'm doing, even though she didn't really kind of get it. I just told her, you know what? Just nod your head and I'll explain it to you later because I'm still learning, but you're excited to share what it is that you're learning and how you're growing. To me, that lets me know that you're getting it.
That is really good. I know that one of the techniques we use in training and teaching and learning is having somebody else explain it. So when they're just willing and they're excited about it and they're explaining it, that's pretty cool.
I tend to do that. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm learning this great new thing. I want everybody else to know that I'm learning this thing. And I didn't even realize I was doing it until you made me stop and think about what it is I see in others. It's like, it's that thing, it's the sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe that is something you can work in your self-assessment or your system. How are you talking to other people about what you're doing? And if they're not ready yet. And if they are, but they're not doing a good job, then they need to hone that. And that, of course, happens through practice. So,
yeah, yes, it does. I'm really big on implementing. You can sit here and, take in all the information all day long, but we need to see it in action.
how do you integrate action into your program?
By giving examples, this is kind of some of the things that I do. You can go out and do the same thing and then show it to me. Show me that you've done it. I also really love group projects. And so I want to incorporate some group projects into my course as well.
What kind of group project would you think of doing?
It would almost be like together we're going to create this piece of content on this platform. And there'll be 2 or 3 of us working together. And so you're going to need the graphics, you're going to need the content, you're going to need to create the NFTs to go with it. You're going to need to see if you can get someone to sponsor it. Just all these things that's going to be involved in creating this NFT project with maybe a piece that you're doing on blogging or a video piece of content or even creating your community around whatever it is that you're creating content for.
Is your course in Web 3.0?
My course is kind of in Web 3.0. So when you finish it, you're going to get this thing called a POAP. And what a POAP does is a digital badge that says, I finished this. And that is something that is almost like an NFT. And that's something that you can keep and you can have and you can show people that I finished this and I have these set of skills.
When you're thinking about talking to somebody like me, creating courses and stuff, what do you think could be some of the options available in courses in the future? You're making me think of certifications.
Absolutely. I did a whole entire thing on how micro schools and course creators can use NFTs in their programs. And one of the big thing was the certifications showing up. So every time you have a Zoom call or something like that, everyone who shows up can get this little POAP that says, I attended this. At the end, if you have so many POAPs, then maybe there's a prize or something special for everyone who showed up on time for the entire course.
I know one of the things we try to do with courses is at times we try to gamify them. And parts of gamification, accumulating points, it sounds like that would work very well with it.
Absolutely. And if you have your own social token, you can give them certain amount. So social tokens don't have any value outside your community. So you can like 1,000 tokens for doing this or 1,000,000 tokens for doing that. And at the end, whoever has so many tokens, maybe they can purchase merchandise, or maybe they can have an upgrade to a course, or maybe they can have a one-on-one call with you. So those are that you can do with social tokens.
That's awesome. I'll have to look into that. That sounds really great. You probably have a vision of a course that's better than where it is today. So what has been your biggest challenge and the biggest gap maybe between what you have today and what you really want?
Because this is the space that I am in, I see everybody doing all of this, and they're doing this and they're doing that. And I'm trying to figure out what information I can give that's different from everybody else. And that's kind of my block. I'm like, yeah, I can talk about introduction to Web3, but there's 1,000 different versions of intro to Web3 that I can just point them to. Why should they listen to me instead of just going to something that's already established? I can see the expression on your face, like, come on, Contessa. But it's a major block for me.
You know this answer, so I don't even know if I need to say it. I mean, you are the differentiator. I mean, the moment we got on this call, you showed up with energy, enthusiasm, giddiness, joy. You know what you're talking about. You know your why. You know about representation. You know about all this stuff. You know why they should take your course. That's why. Because they can choose between some boring, stuff over here, or they can have Contessa.
You're definitely not going to have a boring time with Contessa, I can promise.
No, you're going to love it. It's going to be fun. So we'll talk about some of the things we didn't talk about before we started recording. You are a Black woman with ADHD, and you also said that you have some health concerns. That makes you incredibly relatable to some people. They need to be in Web 3.0 because it is the Wild West. And so it needs to be established from the beginning with that representation. I don't know if I've given you enough whys, but I think it's pretty clear that the reason they want your course is because of you, because of the things that matter to you. And it's going to matter to them for that same reason.
The whole idea of creating a course and putting it out there, I've created courses before, and it just, I don't know what happened. It just did not do what I thought it was going to do. And so I'm kind of tainted in that area. I'm just like, to go out and do this again, and for me to get 3 people to buy it, it's very frustrating.
It is frustrating. It is a long process for most of the stuff, mostly because you're working with the restrictions of Web 2.0. So just kidding. Web 2.0 is not attracting you have to work hard. You have to work hard for it. And part of it it's not that the course doesn't work. In some cases, it could be the course could be better. I have a lot of strategies to make courses really great, but you can take the best course out there. And if you don't have the right people at the right time who are in the right frame of mind, it isn't going to work. So how do you get to know the right people? Who is your client? Who is your avatar?
Well, first and foremost, my client is a lot like me. A woman a little later in life. A lot of times you see a bunch of young people in this space. So a little older, been through some things, tired, has tried out social media, has been calling themselves a coach for a long time, but they really don't have a coaching business. It's kind of like a side gig because they're not really making enough money from it. And they heard about this Web3 thing and they want to try it, but they're hesitant because they don't have the time and the patience to try something else that's just not going to work.
Yeah. I'm thinking that you have a couple of things that work against you. It's not bad to know this. It is good for you to know this because now you know how to address it. It's just like when you find out why somebody's confidence is suffering, you have to kind of know why before you can address the root cause. And so for you, I think you're looking for brilliant content creators who are tired. And so taking a course sounds like a lot of work.
Yes.
And you have to educate them into why they need this course.
Mm-hmm.
And they're too tired to really, they're on the hamster wheel and you're asking them to come off the hamster wheel, take a rest, and then, take your course. That's a lot of, you're shifting their direction quite a bit. So they're working really hard in this direction. You're trying to get their attention to get to something else. So I think it's best that you think about those things that are going to make the most significant impact to them when they read it. So maybe you're not talking Maybe you're not saying, here's why you need Web 3.0. Maybe you're saying something along the lines, I can't believe this happens. I'm being silenced because I don't fit the profile. I can't believe this happens. My content got stolen. Maybe you're talking about those things that they can relate to because they know what it's like to put out some great content and nobody notices because they're at the beck and call of the regulation or the algorithm. Because it seems like Nancy gets this algorithm, but I don't, and I'm creating better content than she is. Not that I want to compare, because I don't think that's really the right thing to do, but it's really natural to see, hey, I put some really, really good work out here and somebody else just throws out a question. It looks like no thought at all, and they get hundreds of people commenting. So why is this not working for me? So if you can tap into those feelings, now you can introduce Web 3.0 as the solution.
I love that so much. Yes, that feels good. That feels good. And I'm extremely creative, and it'd be so easy for me to write content like that.
Yeah. And I think that if you can do that in intimate, like start conversations, and people who post on it, get in their DMs and have heart-to-heart conversations with them, not like, hey, do you want to join my class? But they're going to need trust because you're asking them to divert. Forget about the money. I mean, you can price your course at 1,000, you can price it at 100. It's not about the price for something like this. It is about the fact that they're working very hard in this direction and you're trying to get them to go into a different direction. And that's far more difficult for them to invest, is that time and that abandonment of their master plan. I put so much time in this so far, so I have to just be consistent with doing this. I'm almost there. I'm almost at a breakthrough. And you're saying, no, you got to abandon this and try this instead.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, that is so good. And look, if I don't get anything else from this, that right there was exactly what I needed. Oh my gosh, that was wonderful. Thank you.
But of course, I think a course with you, I just enjoy, I don't even know how long we've been on the phone right now. I love talking with you. I can't imagine anybody who wouldn't want to sign up with a course with you and get the beautiful and brilliant encouragement and the fact that you're throwing in so much that matters to me. I know it matters to other people, the representation that matters. And the fact that you are working with accountability. Now, accountability to me has been a tool that in the past has been used as a disciplinary thing. Like, when you hear somebody, well, I'm just trying to hold you accountable, it means I'm going to try and catch you doing what's wrong. But here you're using accountability in a beautiful way that helps them achieve the dreams they have, not stay focused on the company policies.
Yeah, we're not into bullying or making you feel guilty or any of that stuff. I just want to encourage you to be the very best version of yourself and be true to those things that you actually want. Not what you think you should want, but actually want.
Not the things that you've been told you should want.
Right. And a lot of times I've run into people they've never been asked the question of what do you really want? Mm-hmm. Get stumped. They don't know how to answer that. And so, maybe I could help out a little bit.
That is a hard question. I mean, if you ask me if I want this or that, it's easy. But when you open up so many other choices I hadn't considered, it is harder.
It is. And so we'll get through it. Thank you for making this fun for me.
Thank you for making it fun. You did it too. All right. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in. I hope you loved that interview with Contessa. If you want to know more about how to follow her, please check the links below. If you want to know how to follow me, go ahead, like, subscribe, and check those links also.